Awesome. So I feel like this is a long time coming. We were supposed to meet at the, I think it was the New York event. What was it called? Like Ascent. And then, I don't know, standard event craziness. So glad we're finally doing this and having a beer at the same time. So thank you for coming on.
Thank you for inviting me and finally meeting you in person and not on Zoom.
So why don't you introduce yourself for people who don't know who you are?
Sydney Waterfall, SVP of Go-To-Market Strategy for a new company called Passetto.
And what is Pasetto?
Passetto, we're doing go-to-market optimization and consulting and leaning into signal-based analytics to inform a lot of our recommendations to increase go-to-market ROI.
Awesome. So how long have you guys been at this? Because it's you, it's Chris. I'm sure there's other faces. Oh, there we go. Thank you. I guess I got a drink. I'm not chugging on camera. I'm also like 14 years old. Or 14 years older than chugging. I know. This isn't college anymore. But
exactly.
Back on the rails. So, who else is, I guess, at Passetto, and what does the makeup of the company look like right now?
Yeah, so there's three of us. Chris Walker is founder, CEO, and I am, there's two other co-founders, myself, and then Trevor Gibson, who's our VP of Technology. So right now we're just the three musketeers and kind of building it from scratch. We really wanted to build a company that is bootstrapped and funding product through our services and eventually, switch the revenue model from service-based to product-based over time and really kind of solve a core problem that we saw in the market.
So how long was this kind of in the making, the idea? Like, I don't know if you've shared this before, but as much as you're willing to share.
Yeah, so I worked with both of Chris and Trevor at Refine Labs for quite some time. And we've always had these like side projects and like, okay, we got to figure this problem out for this customer, or we see this problem across all of our customer base. Let's try to go figure this problem out. So this kind of started as a side project, and Refine Labs is a agency, and we wanted to, create a new company that had different potential ICP, different revenue model, and really kind of segmented out that way. So. Technically, February 1st was when...
Technically. So when was the actual unofficial date?
I think we really got started active in the Q4 of last year.
Yeah.
Like kind of being like, what do we do with this?
Yeah. So totally unscripted. What's the craziest kind of learning that you've had either at like the company level or just you personally as, joining as a founding employee really and a co-founder? Biggest surprise, craziest thing, you can have fun with it too.
So biggest learning for me, which is where I'm trying to really up-level myself in, is more of like running a full business. I'm learning a lot from Chris, I'm learning a lot from other people of how to run a profitable, efficient business, which I think is just like a skill to have and something that I wanted to sharpen and kind of like bite my teeth on a little bit. And then honestly, like we're pretty lucky to already have an audience that we can take advantage of. So like that's a huge competitive advantage, and I don't take that lightly. I know most people walking into a situation don't have that. So what I'm focused on really at the company is working with customers, getting customer feedback, and then how does that like get into product and how do we actually build something while we're learning what we're going to build. So the connection between the customer experience and product is like something I'm really passionate about.
So I know it's early stages too, but how is that feedback loop working right now? Like, how are you getting feedback? What kind of feedback are you, I guess, receiving, and how are you informing, what you're building?
So there's only three of us, so it's pretty, it's pretty agile.
I would hope so.
There's no, political red tape or, I got to go talk to that.
That would be a big issue if there was at that point.
But I manage all of our customers right now, and Trevor and Chris are also customer facing when applicable. So the ultimate goal that we're hired to do is to audit what's going on and help them improve their go-to-market efficiency. So across any department, right? It's not just marketing, sales as well. So we are able to kind of look at all their data, present different insights, test how we position something, test different ways of looking at their data, test different views, and we get that feedback like immediately. And then I can just go to product and be like, Trevor, we need this, and it should be this way, and like let's hypothesize this, and then go test it literally that week when I'm meeting with a client. So it's very like rapid, and you know.
Yeah, well, especially at a 3-person company, I would hope that you're moving at like breakneck speed right now, but that's awesome. So maybe, I mean, you can pull from your current experience, or maybe even when you were at Refine, you know, working with other clients on the agency side. What's the last piece of software that you remember buying?
Actually, KeyPlay.
We love KeyPlay.
I know you all like customer too, so I was like, this is not planted.
Yes, no, not at all. And I guess, what were you kind of looking for? What was that evaluation process like?
So it was actually at Refine. We're pretty lean on software right now at Pasetto. We're actually trying to build a lot of our own stuff.
Yeah, I figured you have other things to worry about than buying new software. Yeah.
I mean, we'll get there.
Yeah.
Don't send me any DMs. Anyone who's listening. I'm kidding. But yeah, we were effectively trying to figure out a better way to target, right? Refine Labs was at the stage where we were now ready to be a little bit more proactive in our market versus like letting the market come to us.
Yep.
And we wanted to be really sufficient with targeting and understanding, key signals. Like we historically didn't invest in paid ads. We were starting to like experiment with paid ads and really widen our reach and maybe test some new industries and things like that.
Yep.
So, actually, with how I went about that is we didn't need something super robust and super enterprise. So I kind of already knew, okay, we want something that fits our company size and our needs right now.
Yep.
Okay, what is on the market? I heard about KeyPlay through LinkedIn.
Yeah.
Because what do you know? I'm always on
word
LinkedIn.
of mouth. Yeah.
And been following the content, like Pure Signal, their media company.
Yep.
Been following them for a long time. So it always starts with content.
Yeah.
It always starts with value, and then kind of go from there. Fun fact, I used to work for Adam as well.
I didn't know that. I love Adam. He's the best.
Yeah, Simply Measured. He was the CEO,
No way.
and I worked there as a campaign manager.
I
so
did
like,
not know that.
It's like,
shout out Adam. Yeah. That's awesome. How long were you working for Adam then?
About a year and a half before Sprout acquired Simply Measured, and then
awesome.
kind of helped with transition and then move on to something else.
Very cool. So when you were about ready to buy KeyPlay, did you have to like vet them at all? Like, how did you kind of land on like, hey, this is the right tool for us, and we feel confident in the decision?
Definitely looked at a couple others, but involving different people. So our head of sales at that time, like he was involved in the conversation, and also some of our other marketing employees there were involved as well. So that's kind of how we brought people in, and it was like there was like 2 or 3, but that was it. It was a pretty short list that was already like, I already knew customers that use them, I knew brands that use them, and kind of brought in that way.
So kind of just seeing who else is using them and trusting, or at least people that you respect and companies that you respect, and just kind of taking the leap of faith based on that.
Yeah, due diligence of double checking, certain things and making sure it's going to work for our like more specific use case than, the use case that you might have with KeyPlay might be different than what we were looking for example. So I think it's helpful to hear people's experiences in general, no matter their use case, because that gives credibility for, okay, this company is going to support me and I'm paying them, and no matter what the use case is, like they're generating value. So I think that's a key thing when like talking to peers and things like that. And then once you get into the sales process, be like, okay, now how is this actually going to work for my like very specific use case, things like that.
Awesome. So customer evidence, when you hear that term, what are the first, couple things that come to mind?
Customer evidence.
No
like
right or wrong
facts
answers.
And data, I would think.
I have not heard that answer yet, but that might be one of the better answers. Yes.
Maybe I skew towards data, so I don't know. Maybe that's just me. But like evidence, like I want the facts. I don't want fluff. I want like A, B, C equals D. Like that's what I hear when I think of evidence.
I love that.
Yeah, that's my initial reaction.
Solid. It's one of the things that we're starting to kind of think about how we use in our positioning and messaging. Because I think we've talked about customer stories, and most people just think of case studies and testimonials, and you know, that's great.
Quotes,
but
things like
we're
that.
really trying to, you know, more so focus on data, product stats, ROI data that are credible, and not the hey, we increased ROI by 12,000%.
You mean you didn't hire a vendor to go do an ROI study for you?
Oh,
that just is always positive? Oh my God.
Exactly.
Imagine that.
So we're trying to kind of come up with our own research methodology that just shows, hey, we're using your actual customer base to tell you what their performance is like in their own words, and using real data, because it's more believable that way, and not the egregious, you know, TEI report claims that you see sometimes.
I wasn't going to say it, but yep.
I feel like analysts don't like me for my metadata days, but I went at the analyst bear pretty hard.
Yeah, they don't really like me or Pasetto either, so it's okay. We're in the same
All right, so we're in the trust tree. So last question for you. I've been asking everybody this, kind of a broad question, but very intentional. How do you go about building trust in your marketing?
You need, I think, authenticity. You need to be close to your customer. And I think by trusting your marketing, if you're close to your customer, you're providing sorry.
I was worried that was a B, and I was ready to take one for the team here. Yeah. Like my sense kicked in. I was like, uh-oh, this cannot happen to Sydney. Yeah.
I know I have a sixth sense a little bit about the bees because I've been allergic my whole life.
Yes.
So yeah, authenticity and like value to your customers. If you do that, you can build that same messaging, that same content, whatever you're talking about, and just talk about it to non-customers, right? Like I don't really look at it as, okay, this is, you know, directly for customers versus not. And I also think being transparent, like you mentioned, you know, customer evidence, right? Like, okay, so evidence, it's objective. You're going to be transparent about X, Y, and Z, how you go about things. I think that builds a lot of trust. And also, I think just kind of being more relatable.
Yeah.
Like just, it's easier said than done in marketing, but just being relatable.
Yeah. So I don't know what made me think this, but I promise this is the last question.
No, go ahead.
It has nothing to do with what we have been talking about. Don't you own like a farm or something? Like, tell me the best farm story that you have, or is it actually a farm? It's something like that, isn't it?
I call it a mini farm.
Okay.
It's like a hobby farm.
Okay. Hobby farm. Okay.
Waterfall farms, you know.
Yes.
That's kind of like side hobby stuff that like I enjoy outside of work.
Yep.
I'm, you know, love animals. We love raising animals, gardening, and being just kind of like self-sustaining. So that's kind of, we live on 10 acres and we do like pigs, chickens. We've done sheep, goats. We've had a bunch of different animals.
Yeah.
And so,
How many other SaaS founders and farmers do you think are in that kind of Venn diagram, the overlap?
I've met 2.
Okay, so 2 more than I was expecting. Yeah.
I think it's becoming a little bit more popular.
Yeah.
So 2. Yeah. I also met someone here from Idaho, and I was like, yes.
Love
all
it.
right,
My
let's
people.
do it.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, thank you for coming on. This was a blast as expected, but great to finally connect in real life, and this was awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you. Cheers.
Thank you for having me.